Is this going to be the last controller you ever buy? Probably not, but give me a few minutes and I'll tell you exactly why I think you should get this controller. Now, it's not often that I'm impressed by controllers. I mean, they're controllers. But where this topic sounds kind of boring, the Manba One is most definitely not. So let me tell you all the good, all the bad, and who I think this thing is for. Before that, let me tell you real quick that this was sent to me by the cool people over at Manba. But as always, all opinions are my own and no money was exchanged. So let's get on with it. Starting off with the good. Not only is this thing good looking, but the Hall sensors make sure that there's no Joy-Con-esque drift. But if you do want to go drifting, the analog triggers got you covered. And also have the hair trigger locks like on the much more expensive Xbox Elite controllers, which will let you mow down zombies if you need to. Oh, and I didn't even mention the built-in gyro. Wait, what do you mean you don't care? Okay, well on top of all that, you get some clicky buttons, a pretty accurate D-pad, and no, wait, on top of that, you also get a removable faceplate. Interesting. But even better than all of that is this circularity test. Look at that coverage. It's got all of this included, and I didn't even tell you about the charging dock, which is also included and has a dongle in the stand. Okay, sure, you're saying, whatever man, 8BitDo and GullyKit have those too. And I'd say, you're right. But what they don't have is these removable stick tops, customizable RGB, and best of all, this display. The display which lets you have 3 customizable profiles and will let you remap buttons and even customize some macros. Alright, rather than talk your head off the entire time, let's see this thing in action. Anyway, I'm obviously no Daigo or Justin Wong, but I did try some D-pad testing and you can see here that I was able to nicely cross up without too many errors. Hey, I never said this controller was going to make you good, okay? Oof. And unsurprisingly, the controller works perfectly with your Go or your ROG Ally. But what this controller isn't though, is perfect. And so I do have some gripes about it. The missed points for me are pretty minor though. One of them is this unusual stick top, which as far as I know, means that you can't replace it with anything else if it breaks. Maybe if Manba sells some replacements, then you're okay. The bigger, albeit subjective issue for me is the placement of the start and select buttons. I think most people would expect that the buttons would be up top rather than at the bottom, kind of like they are on the Legion Go controllers, and how those buttons originally activated Legion space. But I digress. Because really, there isn't much to whine about for this controller, especially at its price point. And it would be absolutely nitpicky of me to say something like I'd like to have RGB around the sticks, swappable D-pad, or face buttons. And speaking of replaceable, right now that front plate can't be replaced with any other design, but Manba has told me they plan to sell other controller colors, which is a shame, but I could see this as turning into a pro for this device. Hopefully that means you can just buy the faceplate and not the entire controller. Now let's get to who I think should buy this. I believe this controller is, well, for anyone. Maybe even everyone. Handheld gang or not. Because whether or not you're rocking your PlayStation, Switch, handheld PC, or even phone, this thing seems to connect to them all, and without buying another adapter or dongle. I guess I didn't include that part in the like section. Oh, and of course, the best part is absolutely that it's a reasonable price. It's competitive against the likes of GullyKit and 8BitDo, and those things have dominated the market when it comes to the controller space. But hey, don't take my word for it. Check the links in the description, compare the prices, and maybe try one out for yourself. Wait a minute, you're still here? Okay, let me take a moment to tell you about Handhelds United, a weekly podcast covering all the topics related to handheld PCs, featuring channels like Gaming for Insight, CPPC Tech, Windeck Tech, Handheld Hardware, myself, Gamers Generation, and of course, OKS Gamer. Now stop messing around and check out this review next.